Hello and welcome to Senior Speak New Hampshire on your Concord TV, sponsored by AARP. I am Karen Ulmer-Dorse, the producer, host of this program, and also a volunteer for AARP. And I thank you so much for being with us today. You know, December is the month of gift giving. And if you recall last year, I said that I was giving a gift for you to give to your family because Henry Quinlan talked to us about telling your own life story to your family and your loved ones. Well, this December, I am giving a gift to you if you are someone who doesn't drive anymore, or you know of people who don't drive anymore and are concerned about getting from one place to another. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to Cindy Yanski, who is a mobility manager. And so Cindy, take it away.
Well, thank you, Karen, for having me. And I'm thrilled to be able to talk about transportation options for not just seniors, but everyone, but in particular, our seniors and those with disabilities. First thing I want to talk about is what is a mobility manager.
Right.
It is it's not a new strategy, but it is a strategy that New Hampshire has now embraced. It's a transportation strategy where we look at all the different options that are out there, not just one organization focused on, this type of organization or that one. We're looking at every option that's out there, and with the customer focus. So I work one-on-one with customers or agencies to try to find the best transportation option of what's available to them in our region. So each New Hampshire has taken on recently a new strategy where they have placed mobility managers statewide. So they've separated the state into regions. There are 8 different regions, and there is now a mobility manager in every single region. That person has taken on the role of becoming the transportation expert in their region. So they are very mindful of what's available out there for individuals and how to access that information. To a lot of folks, so I kind of look at it as we all know about what a nurse navigator does in a medical office.
Right.
That person navigates the medical system for their patients. Well, think of a mobility manager as much like a nurse navigator. And so working with the individual to try to help them navigate the range of transportation options that are there.
Okay. So it doesn't matter where this person wants to go or whatever this is.
It doesn't. So the way that the regions are broken down is based on where the person lives.
Okay.
So that is, so if someone lives in my region, doesn't matter where they're going, I'm going to try to help them find options. So that's how we've designated the regions, was based on where the person resides.
Okay. So
yes.
Continue, my lady.
Okay. So one thing that I really liked, so with that was I was mentioning, the state has taken on, it has created a statewide mobility manager network. And I loved their mission. So I think that it states it pretty clearly. And I have it right in front of me so
That's
I don't
good.
get it wrong. It's the mission of the statewide mobility management network is to improve the coordination, capacity, accessibility, quality, and sustainability of mobility services statewide. So I thought that was really getting to the point of what their mobility managers are trying to do. So there are 8 of us out there that are all working statewide to work with individuals to find the best mobility options for the individuals. We also work with agencies and different providers to see if we can better coordinate services among agencies and providers. And in some cases, we're reaching out to some areas, asking, hey, can you extend your area just a little bit, to try to serve a region that's not covered yet.
Okay.
So really working boots on the ground with the providers individuals, agencies, referrals, whatever it is, that's where like the buck stops here.
Okay.
With a mobility manager.
And so your area, talk about your area.
So my region it's Region 3. We have nicknamed it the Mid-State region because it's right smack dab in the middle of the of the whole state. It encompasses all of Belknap County, all of Merrimack County, with the exception of Hooksett, and Hillsborough, Deering, and Windsor in Hillsborough County.
And how are the regions determined? Who determined that?
That was, I actually don't know how it was
Okay.
determined. It doesn't seem to follow. I'm sure that someone at a higher pay grade could tell you how they determine those regions.
All right. And you say they, so who did this, Cindy?
So it started with the state legislature,
Okay.
actually, back, I believe, in 2007. They established the State Coordinating Council for Community Transportation.
Okay.
And that pulls together, and they're still meeting today, it pulls together the high-level directors of different programs. If someone from DHHS is represented, someone from the Department of Education, someone from different sectors of the state, including there are also some individuals, so seniors representing himself, seniors in his areas, and so it's pulling together all of the stakeholders, or we're trying to get together all the stakeholders.
Right.
So if you're a stakeholder and want to join the group, just contact the
we
group.
we know that transportation is one of the biggest
Yes.
issues for certainly
It
the
is.
50 plus and older.
That's
Okay,
right.
so just continue right on. Lady.
Okay, so now that we know my region, I also want to, I'm going to probably say it more than once, that I can connect folks to other regions as well. I know I had the blessing of being on your show today, but I can put folks in touch with their mobility managers in other regions too. And I'll
Great.
probably say that again.
Okay.
So that I just want folks to know that they have a resource.
Right.
So let's talk about some of the transportation options that we have available in Region 3. So first off is we have a couple of different transit agencies. We really are blessed in our area to have multiple different options. One of them is the Mid-State Transit.
Okay.
It is I'm going to call it a door-to-door. Their technical term is origin to destination, but we can think in layman's terms a door-to-door service where the shuttle bus will come pick folks up, take them where they have requested to go, and bring them back again. And a lot of folks are using this for shopping. They'll take it for medical appointments. All of those trips that you need to get to, go to the bank,
Right.
the pharmacy, whatever it is. It operates Monday through Friday, 8 to 3. It serves a multitude of different towns within that entire region. It's almost all of them. And it also encompasses a volunteer driver program. And I'm going to talk more about volunteer driver programs later. But think of this as a nice little shuttle service that will take folks around to do their important errands. There's no, some different transit options or transportation options have specific trick purposes, like only for medical appointments, things like that. This is not. You could take this for lunch if you wanted to. Absolutely free of charge. There is no charge to use this service.
Does it depend on the day?
So different towns have the service in different days. We're covering a large area for this service. And so in some areas, there may only be 1 day service. In others, there could be all 5 days.
Okay.
So it does depend on the area and the need.
Okay.
So certainly, if there were maybe there's a town that's only being served 1 day, and there's a lot of requests in that town, they may expand it to multiple days. So that's something to keep in mind, that you may not, if someone calls and they're not super thrilled with the service, they can get your friends to call, get more folks on that bus, and the more people that are there, if they see if the powers that be, if the need is there, they very well may be able to expand that program. I wanted to make sure to mention that it's designed for those that are 60 and over, or individuals living with disabilities.
Right.
So they could also use it. It does serve the largest portion of my region, of Region 3. And it's demand response, which means that it does require you to call in to book. I look at it as like booking your reservation, right? Booking your seat on that bus.
Yep.
And when you call to book your trip, there's a really short registration process, about 5 minutes, can be done right over the phone. And once you're registered, you just let them know, because now they have your home address, let them know where you'd like to be picked up, where you'd like to go, and how long you're going to be there.
Okay.
So they drop you off at the door, and they come back and pick you back up when you've asked to come be picked up. So it's a really nice service. If you haven't taken one of these shuttle buses, I think you'd be surprised. They're really nice. I mean, they're super clean, bucket seats. Many of the buses are relatively new. I don't want to say brand new because they're like, some of them are like maybe a year old. But they're very comfortable, seat belts.
That's great.
Yes, really nice service that they have there. And so I would recommend that with the folks that are in the big, out in the outer regions of my region, give a call, and we'll let you know what's available in your town. The next biggest, so the next is Concord Area Transit.
Yes.
Which is the fixed route service within Concord. And it has, fixed route, that's kind of the technical term. That's the type of system where you go and stand at the bus stop and you wait for the bus to come along. Again, absolutely free of charge. So so I keep saying that's the one nice thing in my world that happened with COVID is all of the services became fare free.
That's great.
So now folks can just jump on and off whenever they want to. So if you see a bus stop, the schedules are right there. You can see when the bus is going to be leaving that stop again, so that when is the bus going to come. And so you can just get on and get off. It only has 3 routes. So if you're not familiar with a regular bus service, it's a really easy one to get acclimated to a bus service because you can't get lost. The drivers are there. If you're not sure which bus to get on, just ask the driver. They're going to help direct you. Many times I've been on the bus and the driver just happens to overhear where someone's getting off, and maybe they haven't rung the bell yet that they're getting off. Aren't you getting off here? And so they're very helpful there. And both of these services, well, I'm going to back up. So they'll assist in any way possible. What I was going to say was like a Mid-State Transit, that door-to-door service, those drivers are so helpful that they'll even help carry on some groceries.
Oh, how
if
nice.
And they can help people bring it to their door if it's not too far. Of course, they can't lose sight of the bus.
Right.
But they're there to lend a hand, which is really nice.
That is great.
Let's see. Let's talk about to accompany the fixed route service. If someone has a disability and they're not able to get to those bus stops, they have a complimentary ADA paratransit service, which is just like the smaller shuttle buses that will come door to door.
Wow.
To pick folks up. So those are for those that can't get to the stop. And on top of that, they have Concord Senior Transit, which is just like the Mid-State Transit buses.
Okay.
But it's through Concord Area Transit, but it's Concord Senior Transit.
Yeah.
And it is designed for seniors, for those that are 60 and over. And it, just like MST, they'll help carry groceries to the door. They're super sweet. And door-to-door service, so that if you prefer to take the door-to-door service, you could do that. I know we have a lot of active seniors, and so I wanted to make sure to mention the fixed route service, because that one you don't have to call ahead. You could just, at the spur of the moment, stand at a bus stop and get on.
Yeah.
The Concord Senior Transit does require the phone call to reserve that space. Another thing I should tell you about Concord Senior Transit is it is serving Concord residents on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. But on Tuesdays, it goes to Pennacook and to Boscawen, and even up into Salisbury to serve the folks that are up there.
Wonderful.
Most of the time, they're coming into Concord to do shopping, but they could go to the New Market Basket that's out on exit 17,
yes. Uh-huh.
or they could go to doctor's offices that are in that local area. It really is up to them where they're going to go, but they can come all the way into
great.
Concord, take it to go to lunch, go to go to an exercise program
Right.
maybe at some of the I won't mention the specific places, but there are
Right.
so could take it for anything. And on Thursdays it goes south to Pembroke and Bow and into Suncook. So
Wow.
it serves the residents there. So most of the time, again, they're coming into Concord, but they could do
Right.
something right there in that area if they needed to get to a
That's
doctor's appointment.
just
It's right down
great.
there, or come into Concord. So yes, between the two services, they really have provided almost complete coverage of the entire region.
That's great.
Now, where these services cannot reach, because there are a few towns that it just doesn't reach, we have the volunteer driver program.
Okay.
Now, there is one that's associated with these two programs, and it's at the Community Action Program, Belknap, Merrimack County. And there are others as well, so we're going to talk a couple about them. But the first one that's associated with these two programs, it gets those areas where these services can't reach. It is specific to just medical appointments.
Okay.
Because we're limited on number of drivers. And if there is no bus service, they will do shopping trips as well. They've expanded that so that we know that there are those necessities that we have to do. We have
Sure.
to get groceries.
Sure.
So they did expand it to beyond
Great.
medical appointments. Where the bus service is, and say that you needed to get to a medical appointment that is outside the area. Say you needed to get to Lebanon or to
Right.
Boston for some testing or something like that.
Right.
That's where we're going to employ the volunteer driver program again.
Okay.
Right, so all of the volunteer drivers are completely vetted. They've gone through a thorough background check, insurance levels at a certain
Right.
at a certain level. So you can feel very confident that these drivers are going to get you safe
you're
and sound
safe.
where you need to go. There are other volunteer driver programs as well. Should I keep going?
Keep going. Yes.
Okay. So we were blessed in our region to have 10 different volunteer driver programs in our region.
Wow.
So there are about 25 statewide, and 10 are in our region. So it's just amazing. Some of them only touch a couple of towns. Some serve just their town, but there are lots of different options here in our region. Just to pick on a couple of them, like Hopkinton, their women's group somewhere along the line, like 45 years ago, started a volunteer driver program, and it's still going today,
Wow.
serving Hopkinton residents.
Yes.
There's another one out in Henniker that serves Henniker residents, and there's others as well. Some programs are statewide, such as the Future Insight has one that serves their population, which are sight-impaired folks. And so it is a statewide volunteer driver program. So they can take their clients, where they need to be. And so
Fantastic.
Absolutely, I agree. It is fantastic. And so lots of different options there. Some are limited to just medical appointments. Some are open to any purpose at all. It doesn't matter. Some are limited to, a certain age group. Others are open up to every resident. So it kind of runs the gamut of options there. So again, give me a call and we can walk through the options that may be available. And let's see what we also have in our region. Manchester Transit. Actually, who would have thought Manchester Transit when you're thinking the Concord area? But sure enough, Manchester Transit has what they call their Concord Express zip line. And it runs right up 93. One of the Manchester Transit buses comes up on a regular basis Monday through Saturday, so it does have Saturday service, For $5 that you could pay right there when the driver shows up, you can take any of their bus services. So you could pick up Manchester Transit right here in Concord and go down to Manchester and take their entire system for that very same amount. So all day long, you can get to the mall. You can,
Wow.
there's just, if you have a medical appointment down there. And again, I've ridden the bus myself. They are very comfortable. They're clean. The bus drivers are super helpful, answer any questions that you may have.
And this is 6 days a week?
That's 6 days a week, Manchester Transit.
And do they have hours when they arrive here? Or?
They do. So it's on a regular schedule. Roughly, without looking at it, it's like 7 a.m., 9 a.m.
Wow.
I think the next one is noon. It's on a regular basis. Their schedule is
That's
online.
absolutely fantastic.
And you can pick these up as well. So you can have the entire system. And thanks to them, yes, you can get to the Manchester airport.
Wow.
Via public transportation. The was it Manchester Boston Regional Airport in Manchester. For a long time, we weren't able to get there from here. But yes, you can get there from here via Manchester Transit. So
fantastic.
I know that is an excellent program that they have for us. And in addition, I'm so excited about it because
you should be. It's very exciting.
There are a lot of options, which we don't think that there are, but once you start digging in, you realize, there are more options than we realized. Manchester Transit not only has a Concord zip line, but they have a Nashua zip line. So
wow.
They have connected Concord to Nashua through Manchester.
Wow.
Yes, it's a great program. So again, the same $5 will take you if you want to get down to Nashua.
Trader Joe's.
At Trader Joe's, Christmas tree shop. I mean, I'm just,
yeah.
I'm thinking of some of these different options that are down there. So I know some folks feel like, now that I've given up the keys, I'm stuck to being at home and just in this one little area. You're not. Your options are out there. So in particular, to get down to Manchester or even to Nashua. In addition, there is Concord Coach. We know Concord Coach will take us down to Boston pretty comfortably. They have a really comfortable system so getting down to Boston is relatively easy thanks to Concord Coach.
Right.
And they also have their Dartmouth Coach taking folks up to Dartmouth area. And
now, and is the Concord Coach and the Dartmouth Coach part of this?
So they are. So Concord Coach, Dartmouth Coach, those are. We always thought of it as like Greyhound.
Right.
It's that system. So it's the bigger multi-state transportation services. So they are their own entity. And so. And that's the beauty of mobility management is we're not just looking at one option. We're looking at all the different options that are there.
Great.
Yes.
Okay. So this is in the North Country also, Cindy. There's a region of this in the North Country for people who are up there.
So there are some transportation options up there. I'm not the expert on what's up in the North region, but there is a mobility manager. There's actually two of them up there, one on the western side of the state and one on the eastern side of the state. And they are the experts up there. I know Tri-County CAP has a service up there, but I don't know everything that's available.
Right. But the thing is, you can reach out to those people. If there were, let's say, if there were people here who knew about people up in the north that needed transport or whatever, they could contact you.
They could.
And you would put them in charge or in touch with people that are up there.
I absolutely would do that. Yeah, we all work together as one coordinated system. And so that's really what we're trying to do. We've scoured the entire state. We're trying to work together as a coordinated system so that anyone in our state, we can find some transportation option for them. So we're working together pretty closely.
I do hope, people, that you are listening carefully, that you will replay this as often as you need to, because it truly is a gift not only to you, if you're the person who does not drive any longer, but it may be someone you know who doesn't know about this. Let them know that they have an option. And you have contact, right? Do we have something to put up?
I do. So I can be reached through Community Action Program, Belknap, Merrimack County. My phone number is 603-225-1989. Great. Extension 1210.
Okay. And that's up on your screen, people. And remember, this is something that you can tune into. You can look at this as often as you need to. I just think this is an absolutely fantastic solution for so many people who may not know anything about this. So we want to wish you the very, very merriest and safest of holidays. And if you need transport, all you have to do is call Cindy. And Cindy, thank you so much for being my guest. This is such a wonderful treat. And people, Happy New Year also. And until we meet again, do good, be one.